What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Sunday, February 11th, 2024, and I have some breaking news to share with you guys. So, Germany is going to be conducting a massive exercise in conjunction with the massive NATO exercise, and this exercise is going to be called Quadriga 2024, and I think it just started and it's going to involve up to 12,000 German army soldiers and hundreds to thousands of armored vehicles. And what they're doing with this exercise is training to deploy to the eastern flank of NATO. Okay, and this exercise is going to last for 5 months. This is extremely concerning, guys. Okay, so in addition to the NATO exercise, which is going to have 90,000 troops involved from every NATO country, including NATO partner countries. Now we have Germany saying that they're going to do their own exercise with 12,000 soldiers, and they're going to be moving armored vehicles across the country on public roads. Okay, and they're warning motorists that there's going to be all kinds of armored vehicles on the roads. Poland warned motorists a few days ago that they're going to be moving armored vehicles across the country. So NATO's definitely concerned about something going on here, and what you're looking at is an official post from the German army. It says here Quadriga 2024 is the largest exercise by German land forces since Russia's war of aggression on Ukraine. The focus is on the German army. More than 12,000 soldiers trained, visible to the public, to alert and deploy national and multinational land forces. Rapid deployment to NATO's eastern flank. Quadriga is about training the skills for quickly deploying your own forces to NATO's eastern flank in Norway, Lithuania, Romania, or Hungary, and thereby gaining knowledge for the use of land forces from alerting to multinational combat. Furthermore, it is about the deployment and leadership of troops over a longer period of time. Okay, so this is very concerning, guys. And apparently, this exercise just kicked off and it's going to last for 5 months. Okay, it's going to go on all the way through the end of the NATO exercise. And we currently have a U.S. nuclear war command and control plane up in the air over central Pennsylvania. These planes are responsible for remotely launching all of our Minuteman III ICBMs, and they can also communicate with our submerged nuclear armed submarines. So in Taiwan, there was another record number of Chinese balloons sent over the island and around the island. So on Friday, there were 8 balloons. And then yesterday, there were another 8 balloons, and 6 of them flew directly over Taiwan's territory, which is apparently a record. You can see this picture here showing where the balloons went. Okay, so 6 Chinese spy balloons flying directly over Taiwan. That's 16 balloons in 48 hours, guys. Okay, and they've already launched over 400 sorties across the Taiwan Strait in and around Taiwan's air defense identification zone just in the last 40 or so days. Okay, so that is very concerning. And here we have some reconnaissance activity over the Baltic countries last night. And the Philippines Coast Guard is accusing China of sending their Coast Guard and harassing them. And here we have a video showing the Chinese Coast Guard blocking a Philippine Coast Guard ship. So this ship up at the top is the Chinese Coast Guard ship, and then the one at the bottom is the Philippines Coast Guard. And the Philippines Coast Guard is saying that the Chinese Coast Guard ships were blocking them and doing unsafe maneuvers. As you can see, they're extremely close here. So that is definitely a concern. Look how close they are. Okay, that is just insane. And there was a lot of reconnaissance again last night over the Korean Peninsula. Here we have some kind of unknown plane that was flying back and forth along the DMZ here. Okay, it didn't have any call sign or any information on it. And then here we had another plane that was flying back and forth along the DMZ with no call sign or any information, but it was flying at a really high altitude, which tells you that this was some kind of drone, reconnaissance drone. Okay. So this is very concerning, guys. All right. The US and South Korea are stepping up their reconnaissance of North Korea and the DMZ the last week or two. All right. Here we have a sub hunter plane that was patrolling just to the south of Taiwan last night. And here we have what appears to be LiDAR mapping by the US of Manila and the bay right outside of Manila in the Philippines. And why they would be doing this, I have no idea, but it could be because they're expecting some kind of war and they want to map out the terrain of the capital and the bay area in case they want to use warships and dock them there. I don't know. Maybe they want to see the depth of the ocean, or I have no idea. I'm not a LiDAR expert, but this is extremely strange. And the Egyptian Foreign Ministry is threatening Israel, saying that launching a military operation in Rafah will have serious consequences. And the president of Turkey, Erdogan, is going to be making an official visit to Egypt this Wednesday. Okay. So Israel wants to seal off the border between Egypt and Gaza. And Egypt is concerned that there's going to be a flow of refugees from that area. They've already deployed dozens of tanks and armored vehicles to the border. And the Israeli army radio is saying that two major regular army divisions have been redeployed from Gaza to the border with Lebanon. The 98th and the 36th divisions were redeployed to the border with Lebanon. So that's a total of 5 divisions that have been redeployed to the border with Lebanon. And according to Israeli defense officials, the Israeli military is waiting on the green light from the Israeli War Cabinet to start their assault on Rafah. This was reported by Israeli News 12. And the Israeli army has set up 2 safe zones in southern Gaza for evacuating Palestinians from Rafah. So this could spiral out of control, guys. I find it interesting that Erdogan is suddenly going to Egypt now, okay? And Egypt has said that if Israel begins this operation, it's going to nullify their 1979 peace agreement between Israel and Egypt. And Egypt said that that would be a red line, okay? So they're moving their forces to the border. We'll have to wait and see if there's any clashes between the Israeli army and the Egyptian army. It could happen, guys. And Netanyahu says that the Israeli army will guarantee safe passage for civilians before the expected operation on Rafah. And Egypt apparently warned Hamas that Israel will storm Rafah within 2 weeks if a hostage deal is not reached. This was reported by the Wall Street Journal. And Netanyahu says that those who say that under no circumstances should we enter Rafah are basically saying lose the war. Okay, so Netanyahu basically considers Rafah to be critical for winning the war. And the Israeli Defense Forces are preparing in northern Israel for a possible confrontation with Hezbollah. Last week, soldiers from the IDF's 226th Reserve Paratroopers Brigade, aka the Northern Brigade, and Combat Engineering Forces performed training exercises focused on combat in densely populated urban areas, winter weather conditions, and in northern terrain. The IDF said on Saturday The fighters trained from the platoon level up to the battalion level, combining tanks, infantry, combat engineers, and artillery. Despite the winter weather, the rain, the mud, and the fog, and after 113 days of defending the northern border, this week we carried out a series of difficult and complex exercises to strengthen the brigade's readiness, said the 226th Brigade Deputy Commander Lieutenant Colonel Yehuda. The spirit of the commanders and soldiers is strong, professionalism is at a very high level, and the troops are ready for anything. Wow, okay, so they're doing more training close to Lebanon, and there were some more missiles that were launched from Lebanon into northern Israel last night. And Estonia is going to continue to build their defense line on the border with Russia, according to the Estonian Defense Minister Hanno Pevkur. He said, "We will not change our plans just because Putin gave an interview. We are simply increasing our readiness, and everyone should do this." So in case you guys don't know, Estonia is going to be building 600 bunkers along their 200-mile border with Russia. Okay, 600 bunkers. That is just insane. And the Baltic countries have agreed to build a massive defense line. Okay, so something's brewing, guys. Something is brewing. I think Russia's going to attack the Baltics and potentially Poland. And the Russian Foreign Ministry has confirmed that Russia and North Korea have agreed on the timing for Putin's visit to North Korea. And the French President Emmanuel Macron had to postpone his visit to Ukraine for security reasons. That's pretty interesting. And France is calling on other EU countries to follow its example and increase their defense financing in the face of the threat of a Russian invasion. Wow. And overnight, Ukraine shot down 40 out of 45 Iranian drones that were launched by Russia. And former National Security Advisor John Bolton criticized Trump about Ukraine. He said Trump knows nothing about the history of Eastern and Central Europe, nothing about hundreds of years of struggle for the status of the Ukrainian people from the Russian Empire. He just looks at it as a deal that he can make today. Wow, strong words there from John Bolton. And the British Navy aircraft carrier HMS Prince of Wales will be leaving the shores today to participate in the massive NATO exercise in Eastern Europe. And it's going to be replacing the Queen Elizabeth. That was originally the aircraft carrier that the Brits were going to send to Eastern Europe for this exercise, but it had supposedly a propeller issue. So instead, they're sending the Prince of Wales. I'm not sure I believe the propeller issue story. And the US and Japan just wrapped up a joint command post exercise to practice responses in the event of a crisis or contingency. Japanese media reported that China was named as a hypothetical enemy for the first time in their exercise instead of a provisional name used before. Wow. So, a command post exercise to practice responses in the event of a crisis or contingency. And the U.S. has approved Turkey's request to purchase F-16s worth $23 billion. So they definitely ordered a lot of F-16s. And that's another sign that the European and Asian region is building up towards a massive war. And the former director of the U.S. Department of Defense UFO Task Force, Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, has made claims that he was silenced from disclosing top secret information about alien life. Kirkpatrick demanded the release of a variety of significant bombshell files so that the public can truly understand what is happening. He mentioned that his bosses at the Pentagon gagged him from sharing the truth with the public on several occasions, even though he had evidence to back up his discoveries. So that's some of the latest breaking news that I have, guys. I will be back later on this evening with more breaking news. I hope you guys enjoy your Super Bowl Sunday, and I'll see you guys later. Take care. God bless. And don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere. And this update was sponsored by My Patriot Supply. Guys, My Patriot Supply is doing a limited time sale on their 1 year emergency food supply. They're going to drop the price by $700 for this week only. The sale expires February the 11th, 2024. This 1 year emergency food supply has a 25-year shelf life. It's all contained within 24 rugged water-resistant buckets. Free shipping is included. $700 off. To get the deal, go to preparewithnyprepper.com. The link is in the description below this video. They're also doing a discount on the Alexa Pure Pro water filtration system. They're doing an $80 discount. Normally the price is $280. They've dropped it down to $200. And this water filtration system filters out bacteria, heavy metals, chemicals, various types of pesticides and agricultural byproducts. And the best thing is that it does not need electricity to work. It's powered by gravity, so you can take this with you anywhere if you're going camping, if you're bugging out, if you lose power at home, okay? Or you could use this every day just for everyday use to purify your well water rather than installing a special treatment system that could cost thousands, okay? So to get the deals, go to preparewithnyprepper.com. The link is in the description below this video. $80 off the Alexa Pure Pro water filtration system and $700 off the My Patriot Supply 1 year emergency food supply. Guys, if you buy this thing, you're pretty much set for any scenario. Now, they also have a general store where they sell all kinds of prepping and survival items. They have a wide variety. To get to their general store, when you go to preparewithnyprepper.com, you click on the top of the page, the logo here, My Patriot Supply. Click that logo, and it'll take you to their general store, and they have everything you need. Okay, so check it out, preparewithnyprepper.com. The link is in the description below this video.